against Bitcoin.
It's going up forever.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Yo, welcome to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live, your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, code breaking news, culture, matic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Got a lot of interesting messages this morning from my no-coiner friends. It was happy Halloween. From my Bitcoiner friends, it was happy white paper day. I just thought that was a very interesting phenomenon. Anyways, today we're going to talk about Elon Musk's plan. He's, finally saying more and more, giving out more and more details about making X, formerly known as Twitter, to be the everything app. The way that he phrased it to his employees is you won't need a bank account anymore. All you need is an X account. Now, if you just use common sense, if you have so much centralization, so your ability to kind of, speak to the public, let your thoughts known. Obviously, some people are going to have political ideas. They're going to have certain points of view. And imagine that being connected with your finances too. Not to mention the fact, and shout out Odell, because he really did call this, Twitter really pushing, or Elon really pushing hard the verification account, the verifications account. And now, last time I heard, he wants to also connect that with your ID, which it's just like, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Now, Elon's a smart guy. I know a lot of people disagree with that. He did land rockets, right? He's basically, developing a self-driving car. So, but at the same time, Max Kaiser has said this the best, right? You need to have a little bit of humility to truly understand Bitcoin, because a lot of people, they come to Bitcoin, they're like, I could make it better. I could do it better. Right. What tends to happen is that if you change something about Bitcoin, it hurts its decentralization. And it's decentralization above all, because if it doesn't have decentralization, it will inevitably be co-opted by governments, just like PayPal was co-opted, just like Facebook's attempt at launching a cryptocurrency, the Diem, the Libra. We're going to talk about that today as it relates to X.com. That was co-opted. So if Elon really does want to make X.com this financial platform, inevitably all roads lead to Bitcoin. Because if he takes the traditional route, due to its centralization, right, due to the ability for governments to co-opt the intermediaries, he's going to have a really, really hard time. He's going to learn the lessons of the past. And hopefully that leads him down one road. Look, Bitcoin is already internet native. It is so incredibly easy to use. And I know a lot of us in the developed world, we have amazing developed financial rails like Cash App, like PayPal, like Zelle to send money. But if you happen to be born in the global South, if you happen to be born in a country that doesn't have developed financial rails, that doesn't have a stable fiat currency, good luck trying to send money to people over there. Good luck. It's going to be almost impossible, because how the current system operates is, depending on the place that you happen to be born in, you're entitled to a bank account or you're not entitled to a bank account. It's a system of exclusion. So I think inevitably all roads lead to Bitcoin. I think the incentives and just Bitcoin's mere decentralization will make it an inevitable conclusion for Elon to reach his dream of making X what it is. If not, of course, I know a lot of Bitcoiners feel like that's a lost cause. We shall wait and see. Definitely not headed in the right direction for sure. But there's always platforms like Nostr, right? I'm all for that, right? But the reality is that, look, Twitter does have first mover advantage. Twitter has everyone on there. Nostr, it's a bunch of Bitcoiners, it's a bunch of freedom maxis, but the rest of the world haven't really woken up to Nostr yet. And that's just because, like I said, Twitter has first mover advantage, right? So if a platform like Twitter were to adopt something like Bitcoin, it's I think it will be a really good thing for Bitcoin adoption. And I know a lot of Bitcoiners hate the fact that I'm saying that, but that's just the reality, right? Since Elon's taken it over, look at what it's done for the political discourse. Look at what it's done for the freedom of speech on the internet. You had Christine Lagarde literally community noted when she was talking about CBDCs, right? Like, even though Nostr is amazing and it's awesome and I'm all for it, I have a Nostr account, I use Nostr, it's great, I get zapped when I put content on there. Elon could totally do the same with Twitter. It just doesn't have that much people on there. That's just a reality. So yeah, let's see if incentives rule the day. Let's see if Elon reaches the inevitable conclusion of, I'm not going to be able to do this with the traditional financial system. And not to mention, and maybe a lot of people don't know this, in terms of public companies that are holding Bitcoin on their treasury, Tesla is one of those companies, right? Which I found really interesting. Anyways, we're going to have a discussion about it. We're going to analyze it. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be a great show. I want to bring up my legendary co-host, always optimistic. Second day that he does not have a smile on his face. Kind of disappointed. How you doing, Opti?
You're catching me while I'm tweeting or commenting in the chat, bro.
Okay.
Well, also, I was telling everyone in the spaces, I woke up with a tweak in my neck. Your boy's hurting over here. It's literally hurting talking right now. So, you know, this is just part of the grind, apparently. I don't know. I'm getting old. It's getting cold. It hasn't been the best morning, but your boy's jacked. Happy White Paper Day. Let's go. 15 years, man. I actually, before I go on and before I forget, I hope you guys reread the white paper today. I feel like it's almost a thing you have to do on White Paper Day. Refresh yourself, reread it, understand why we're here in the first place. And if you haven't read it in a minute, I reread it this morning. It's a good refresher. And, you know, I even had some profound thoughts of Bitcoin when I was reading it. It's like, wow, I haven't read it in a long time. So read it again today, guys. It'll take you 20 minutes. Do yourself a favor. And if you've never read it, then you have to read it at least once. And now we're going to do it every year. We got to do it every year.
Read it at least one time. Anyways, I want to bring up our special guest.
Once a year, Nico.
I want to bring up our special guest, Discovering Bitcoin. Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about his project during the culture. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, boys. It's nice and early here in the land down under, but appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us. It's going to be a great show, guys. Strap in. We got a lot to cover. Let's check it out.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. All right, guys, I made it extremely easy for you guys. You can scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to the Stamp Seed website. You can use promo code SIMPLY to get a 15% discount. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Store it on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Check out Stamp Seed today. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 34,345 sats per dollar, 2,912. Block height 814,703. Blocks to halving 25,297. Halving estimate April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity 5,280 Bitcoin. Capacity value 181 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation 1.74%. The market capitalization of Bitcoin $670 billion with the B. Bitcoin versus gold market cap 5.03 In the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin is still a tiny little baby. Once Bitcoin reaches the market cap of gold, that puts the price of Bitcoin at $567,000 per coin. Anyways, check out today. Today is the 15th anniversary of Satoshi Nakamoto publication of the Bitcoin white paper, one of the most important days in the history of money. I completely agree. Also, a quick update. I know we've been covering this subject tremendously, but it just continues to unravel. Yesterday, we gave you guys an update. The Wall Street Journal, which released a bogus article last week that Elizabeth Warren used to put pressure on the Treasury so that FinCEN could propose these crazy regulations on top of the industry. Basically, it's these broad regulations that would encompass coin mixing, single-use addresses. It would affect collaborative custody. It would affect the Lightning Network. And of course, all they needed was the crisis. But it seems like everything has been unraveling, right? The Wall Street Journal offered a correction. They said, okay, maybe we got some of this information wrong. And check this out. Elizabeth Warren was even asked, and I love the way that Nick Carter phrased it. And by the way, shout out Nick Carter because he did play a key role in this. He offered a bounty for anyone who found, wrong things that were stated in the article. But Elizabeth Warren was asked, and this is what was said. So it's not about one report. Told us on Monday. It's about the whole structure of crypto that attracts some of the worst people around the world to move value around in a way that they cannot go through the ordinary banking system. Now, I love the way that she phrased that. We know that the traditional of terrorism financing, most of terrorism financing comes from the traditional financial system. So it's the fact that they just can't control Bitcoin. It's the fact that it's an escape valve. That's really what's going on here. The way that Nick Carter put it is when the one report which you cited exclusively in your letter to the White House issues a correction, I think you lose the right to say, quote, it's not about one report. So this move by Elizabeth Warren, absolute backfire. Now, I wanted to highlight this YouTube channel. That's what we do on the show. We highlight Bitcoiners from all walks of life because they released this incredible 2-minute video highlighting how secure are your 24 words. So guys, definitely check out this YouTube channel called The Southern Bitcoiner. And let's play the video that I'm talking about. It asks a very simple question. This is a question that I get a lot, which is, wow, I'm writing down these 12 words, but how secure are these 12 words? That's like one of the questions that I get the most. It's like, what if someone guesses my 12 words? What if someone guesses my 24 word seed phrase? And the way he broke it down, it makes it very clear how secure your 24 words are if you're properly securing them, right? This is why you don't want to store them on paper. You want to store it on titanium. Check out Stampseed, promo code SIMPLY. Anyways, let's check out this video. It's about 2 minutes long. Again, subscribe to this Bitcoiner's YouTube channel. He's offering lots of signal. Let's check it out.
24 words are all that stand between your Bitcoin and an attacker. So how secure are they? 24-word seed phrases are just a human-friendly way of displaying 256 bits. So your seed phrase and the respective binary might look something like this. 256 bits means that there are 2 to the 256 or 10 to the 77 possible seed phrases. This incredibly large number is difficult for the human mind to comprehend. So let's put this into context with some real-world examples. Guessing a particular seed phrase is equivalent to guessing one random grain of sand on Earth, then pinpointing one random star among all the stars in the observable universe, then guessing one random centimeter squared on the entire surface of the Earth, and then finally guessing a random cell in the average human body. You would need to guess these consecutively 4,000 times in a row. But of course, that's if you only have one guess, and computers are capable of making billions. The fastest known supercomputer in the world, Frontier, is capable of 1 quintillion operations per second. Although it's practically impossible to guess a seed phrase with only one operation, let's give Frontier the benefit of the doubt and assume that it can guess 10 to the 18 seeds per second. Now imagine that every single grain of sand on Earth was a Frontier supercomputer. Take this a step further and envision that every star in the observable universe had an Earth-sized planet covered in these sand supercomputers. In this mind-blowing scenario, the combined power of all these galactic sand computers working in sync could guess 10 to the 60 seeds per second. This means that it would take all these computers scattered across the universe 2 billion years to crack a particular seed phrase. For context, that's like going back to when dinosaurs went extinct and back to the present day 15 times. So how secure are 24 words? The answer is that they are pretty damn secure. Just make sure that your seed phrase is generated randomly and stored offline.
So, I mean, I love the way he described it because it is a very difficult concept to understand, right? It is a very, very difficult concept to understand and is one that, like, you know, I'm like, I try to describe it. I'm like, look, like, it's impossible. There's so many different types of combinations. But once you explain it like that, once you explain how much computing power it would take just to break one seed word, completely changes the conversation, right? Completely changes it. I think it also highlights how difficult it is for human beings to really grasp very, very large numbers. And this brings me to one of Bitcoin's slogans, which is Veris in numeris, which is Latin for power in numbers. Because in reality, like, yes, like, you know, they are just 24 words, but there's so many of them, right? That it would take so much time and so much energy to just break it, that if you had that amount of energy, if you had that amount of power, you might as well just mine Bitcoin with it because it's a lot more profitable than to try to cheat the system in the first place, right? So anyways, I thought that was really interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. When I watched that video, I enjoyed it because it definitely like broke down something that is highly complex, highly difficult for us to understand, for our mere mortal brains to understand. But I love the way that he broke it down. Anyways, Opti, what's your take on this? And we'll move on to discovering Bitcoin.
Yeah, first and foremost, the irony is not lost on me about Elizabeth Warren calling, what'd she say, people that use crypto, we're going to interchange crypto with Bitcoin here as the worst people ever. I find it very charming coming from Elizabeth Warren. The irony is not lost on me. It just, that's the type of stuff that cracks me up. Absolutely love hearing the Elizabeth Warrens of the world start to read about people using money that they cannot control. And considering it is white paper day, I think it's fitting that I read my favorite paragraph from the white paper itself, just to show just how impotent the Elizabeth Warrens and the powers that be are in regards to Bitcoin. This is the whole point. It's this blue, or is this purple? I don't know. It goes, what is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, allowing any two willing parties to transact directly with each other without the need for a trusted third party. Transactions that are computationally impractical to reverse would protect sellers from fraud, and routine escrow mechanisms could easily be implemented to protect buyers. In this paper, we propose a solution to the double spending problem using a peer-to-peer distributed timestamp server to generate computational proof of the chronological order of transactions. Well, you know,
and that right there, like,
it says everything.
And I'm glad that you brought it up. Is kind of goes to reinforces the theme of today's episode in regards to Elon Musk. Like, he's gonna have a hard time being that trusted third party because even though he has the best intentions, governments are going to knock on the door and say, no, you can't do that. Right. So anyways, I'm glad that you brought that up, Opti.
Well, it's fitting, you know, it's very fitting. And even talking about the 24 words, whether your Bitcoin is protected on 24 words. And it really brings me to my next point, which is just, we are so bad at understanding exponentials. Like I can't do the math of what 2 to the 256 power is like, but I always use that same example of finding your seed phrase is like picking a specific grain of sand on the beach. Like, that's damn near impossible, guys. And you know, I think this is kind of the stuff that we do here constantly, is just reiterate the fundamentals so that more and more people understand why Bitcoin is such a revolutionary paradigm shift for the world. And I really love that we did start with Elizabeth Warren. because, you know, anytime we get a chance to ridicule the corporate press and the politicians and the bankers is a dunk that we can't miss. So, you know, I'm just so happy that we have mathematical proof, encrypted property rights on my blockchain, so that these freaking I can't. I'm trying not to say it anymore. That the powers that be can't steal from you. So happy 15th anniversary to the Bitcoin white paper. You know, if you aren't a Bitcoiner yet and you somehow have fallen on this show, well, don't be late to the party. Don't wait another 15 years. Are we early to this whole thing? I don't know. It's been around for 15 years, but on a pure mathematical adoption level, I think we are still early. And we will see moving 2024, 2025, as the price starts to run again, as the bull begins its run, that the world is starting to wake up, that the people that are quote unquote here to protect you are the very people you need protection from. So, you know, shouts out to everyone's favorite nanny state person, aka Elizabeth Warren. You have no power here. Sorry, the real criminals are using the dollar. It's not on Bitcoin. We're just trying to protect ourselves. This is simply what we're doing. You guys are stealing so much from us that we had to find a sly, roundabout way to ensure that we stop the theft.
100%.
Anyways,
100%.
Rant over.
Anyways, DJ, what are your thoughts on all this, brother?
Well, lads, look, I just go back to an article by Donald Boudreaux, who's like a libertarian, and he basically puts out, it's called Coercivists versus Voluntarists. And you've got someone like Elizabeth Warren, who, as you said, Nico, this is just all about control at the end of the day. She's effectively a coercivist. You could potentially extrapolate everyone that works in government, particularly in the high levels, are all coercivists. And that's just not how social order works. You know, if you read something like Mises or Hayek, I think even Adam Smith, if you go back all the way, basically, you know, as a voluntarist, you understand that social order is inevitable without, you know, some sort of coercive direction from anyone, at least of all the state, just so long as some basic rules of private property and contracting, voluntary contracting, are respected from the get-go, and then you extrapolate. So with Bitcoin, it's peer-to-peer. You can voluntarily opt in to send money to someone anywhere in the world without coercion, and there's nothing anybody can do with it. That's the power.
Yeah, 100%. And that's like I love the way that you said that, because it's like the beauty of Bitcoin is that it makes the coercion very difficult, right? Only, of course, only if you empower yourself with self-custody, only if you properly back up your Bitcoin seed phrase, only if you use a hardware wallet, right? So, but the power is in your hands, right? And then it moves the balance of power from the state back to the individual, because it becomes incredibly difficult for the state to steal your wealth, right? Either via, you know, taxation or just direct confiscation, like what happens in Argentina. You know, when every single time a country goes through hyperinflation, what do? They install capital controls, right? They try to fix the exchange rates, right? And, you know, something like Bitcoin, like if you're just not using the state money in the first place, you could be living in one of those countries. It's like as if none of this would be affecting you. So that is the power of Bitcoin. But again, only if you choose to empower yourself with taking self-custody of your wealth, which is why we push for it so hard every single day. And ideally, running your own node as well. By the way, I recommend the Start 9. There's a deal in the video description for you guys. You can get 18% off the Start 9 server Pure, which is their flagship model. Highly, highly recommend it. It's the one that I personally use. Check out the video description, has all the details in there. Anyways, before we move on to the news section, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Bitcoin 2024. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference on planet Earth. It's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 27th, 2024. If you want to get yourself a GA ticket, it's $349. An industry pass, you can get it for $849. A whale pass, you can get it for $4,749. The industry pass for $849 gives you access to 3 days of the conference. You get access to Industry Day, then you get access to GA Day 1 and GA Day 2. For the Will Pass, you get access to the deep backstage VIP lounge. Last year at Bitcoin 2023, I got to meet Tulsi Gabbard and a bunch of other, awesome Bitcoiners backstage. So it was really, really cool. You could use the promo code SIMPLY to get a 10% discount to the largest Bitcoin conference ever, Bitcoin 2024. Opti and I will be there. Hope to see you guys in the flesh. See you guys at Bitcoin 2024. All right, everybody, let's hit the news.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air gap security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more. All right, guys, I made it super easy for you guys. You could scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to the Foundation Devices website where you can get yourself a Passport hardware wallet. Remember, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Take self-custody of your Bitcoin. Trust no one, only trust yourself. All right, especially now that we have the technology in order for you to do that in a very simple fashion. All right, guys, so this is what I wanted to cover today. This could become so dystopian so quickly, especially now that we know what governments want to do. Like, we know what they're trying to do. We know that they're trying to roll out the CBDCs. We know that they're trying to roll out the digital IDs. In fact, here is a clip of award-winning journalist Alex Newman, and he dives into the dangers of all those things. Let's check out the clip.
Joe Biden's White House put out an executive order last year saying that the administration puts the highest urgency on creating, deploying, and using a central bank digital currency. And of course, the Federal Reserve has been working on this. It's all being coordinated by the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. They've been working on this for years and years now. So the FedNow system that's being rolled out at the end of the month, that's one of the major components in the architecture of the CBDCs. But where this is eventually going, Allison, is they want to completely eliminate cash and have everybody use CBDCs so that everything can be tracked, everything can be controlled, and as the individual at the Summer Davos put it, these currencies can be programmable so that if you've already exceeded your carbon footprint, say, you won't be allowed to buy another steak or buy an airplane ticket or put gasoline in your car or maybe even heat your home. It's hard to overstate the danger of this. I mean, this is the most Orwellian tool for tyranny. And then when you combine it with the digital IDs, when you combine it with the surveillance, with the artificial intelligence that is now being developed, you realize they're building actually a prison planet, and we are the prisoners.
Yeah, we absolutely are. It's just so scary, and I can't even believe this is the world we're living in. But I'm so grateful that you're speaking out about this, and so many others too, to spread awareness. But it's so true that the goal here, the total goal, is just complete control over every aspect of your life. You'll never be able to save money, and your funds will be turned on and off based on your social credit score, which, as we all know, we're seeing the beginnings of right now. I mean, isn't the idea of the central bank digital currency hugely unpopular with the majority of Americans? And if people do resist this, do you think they can still push it through and force CBDCs to be implemented through maybe the destruction of blockchain solutions?
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, there is no public support for this at all. I mean, how many people have you heard say, hey, I wish I had a central bank digital currency? It was a total non-issue for people, completely unpopular idea. And if people understood the implications, there would be not just no support for it, there would be maybe even an outright revolt. But what they hope to do is back us into a corner and force us to accept this. Again, eventually, I think they'll roll this out in parallel with cash. And after they get the bugs worked out, they'll start demonizing cash more and more. It's a tool for terrorists. It's a tool for white supremacists. It's a tool for tax cheats and drug dealers and pimps and things like this. In an effort to kind of stigmatize the use of cash, a lot can be done to resist this. And we must resist this because, again, once the door on this cage shuts, it's not going to be opened again. We have to stop it.
Okay, so put all the political rhetoric aside. You guys know we're not left versus right. We're not Republican versus Democrat. We are the party of orange, the party of peace, prosperity, optimism, opportunity, which is Bitcoin, versus the party of green, which is a party of CBDCs, a party of control, slavery, nihilism, poverty, and all those bad things. Okay, that being said, we know what their plan is. We know what happened last week. We know the false narrative that Elizabeth Warren tried to propagate with her media allies in order to circumvent the legislative process and implement these, implement this attack on Bitcoin, really, using false narratives, right? And now Elon Musk is basically saying, hey, let's make Twitter the end all be all for the financial system. You see how much governments hate Bitcoin. The thing is with Bitcoin is that they can't make it go away. And because they can't make it go away, it's a forcing function and they basically have to compete with it. So Elon is basically saying, okay, let's roll this out on X, which is a highly centralized platform that's had a history of censorship. We've played you guys a video of Congress literally like making the testimony that FBI was literally asking Twitter to censor certain political accounts. If they're not okay with you talking freely, what makes you think they're going to be okay with you transacting freely? And then this leads me to the conclusion that if Elon Musk does want to make X this financial platform, all roads lead to Bitcoin. So let's talk about a little bit about his plans, and then we'll look back at history where other tech companies have tried to roll out a similar plan, like to roll out a global financial, system and whatnot. So let's start. It says the name of the article by Verge is Elon Musk gives ex-employees 1 year to replace your bank. You won't need a bank account. It would blow my mind if we don't have that rolled out by the end of next year. Elon wants X to be the center of your financial world, handling anything in your life that deals with money. He expects those features to launch by the end of 2024. He told ex-employees during an all-hands call on Thursday, saying that people will be surprised with just how powerful it is. When I say payments, I actually mean someone's entire financial life, Musk said, according to audio of the meeting obtained by The Verge. Quote, if it involves money, it will be on our platform. Money or securities or whatever. So it's not just like send $20 to my friend I'm talking about, like you won't need a bank account. Goes on to say, quote, it would blow my mind if we don't have this rolled out by the end of the year. The company is currently working on locking down money transmission licenses across the US so it could offer financial services. Musk told employees Thursday that he hopes to get the others X needs in the next few months. Musk has discussed his plans to turn X into a financial hub before. He even renamed Twitter after his .com boom era online bank, X.com, which eventually became part of PayPal. He previously said the platform would offer high-yield money market accounts, debit cards, checks, and loan services with the goal of letting users, quote, send money anywhere in the world instantly in real time. See, that's the part that they will not allow. PayPal has tried this. This right here. Send money anywhere in the world instantly and in real time. PayPal has tried this. Many other companies have tried this. It is obvious. Why hasn't this been rolled out? Because of governments. That's why. And let's take a look at what happened with Facebook, right? So Facebook famously launched their own cryptocurrency, which was supposed to be kind of like this stable coin. It was going to be a stable coin that was tethered to a basket of other fiat currencies around the world, but it was shut down. And the reason it was shut down is the project generated backlash from government regulators in the European Union, the USA, other countries, and among the general public over monetary sovereignty, financial stability, privacy, and antitrust concerns, which ultimately helped kill the project. Before I make my closing thoughts, right? Tesla, Elon Musk's company. I love how NVK put the lettuce and the paper hands emoji type of thing, because they did sell some, is the third highest holder of public companies. They hold 9,720 Bitcoin. So it's not like they're blind to it. It's not like they haven't had any exposure. Elon hasn't had any exposure to it. But what I got to say about this is, if he really wants to see that go through, he has no choice but to use something like Bitcoin. If he tries to do it the traditional route, it will be co-opted, it will be stopped like every other attempt before him. Why? Opti read it when he quoted you from the Bitcoin white paper. Because Bitcoin is peer-to-peer. This is why it's so important to run your own node. This is why it's so important to take self-custody of your Bitcoin. Because if you take self-custody of your Bitcoin, you can send that Bitcoin anywhere around the world without having to ask anybody for permission. Especially if you run your own node, especially if you take self-custody, right? It says it right there. It's perfect. What is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, allowing any two willing parties to transact directly with each other without the need for a trusted third party. X right here would be a trusted third party. That history has shown when there's a trusted third party, it is inevitably co-opted by government, right? So I put it in the title of today's video. Maybe Elon is another Peter Schiff. Maybe Elon is another just Rubini, right? Just absolute Bitcoin hater, gonna go down with the ship. I don't think that's the case. Number one is because he's basically landed rockets. He's built self-driving cars. He's a hell of an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs tend to seek the solution. Is he gonna be able to have the humility to understand, okay, I'm new to Bitcoin and I don't need to fix it. It works the way that it does. And another thing, and this isn't just me speculating it, is the third on the public company list, Tesla's already number 3. So it's not like Elon, it's not like Bitcoin is lost on Elon whatsoever. All roads lead to Bitcoin. If he truly wants to build out his vision, he's going to need Bitcoin. If he tries to go down the traditional route, and he has that many people on Twitter, on X, using it as a financial platform, like Elizabeth Warren won't even have to release false narratives. They'll just go in there with the men in suits and they'll get their way anyways. And I don't know about you guys, and this is my closing thought, and then I'll pass it on to Opti. Even if they roll out all these financial services, there is no way in hell I'm going to link my Twitter persona, my Twitter profile with my bank account or use it as a bank account with my debit card. Like, hell no. Absolutely not. Right? And I mean, that's just common sense in my opinion. So anyways, Opti, am I seeing things that are not there? I think, dude, all roads lead to Bitcoin. I think he's eventually going to come to the conclusion that there's no way that I'm going to build this out without Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, again, look, I see what everyone's saying in the chat, and giving him the benefit of the doubt, which, we try to do here. We don't know Elon's intentions. He is a billionaire. He's an engineer. And I think he might actually believe that he can engineer this solution. He sees a problem and he wants to solve it. And again, giving him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he really does believe in the mission of, what PayPal tried to start when they were called X back in the day. And we know he's trying to create the WhatsApp of the West. And so we're seeing maybe he can fight through the regulatory red tape that would stop any other company, just considering how much of a public persona he actually is. But I mean, we know we're Bitcoiners. If he really wanted to do this, and I think he very easily could do this with Bitcoin. I mean, Nostr, all they had to do is just add a wallet in there, add an option to add a wallet, and then you custodian your own Bitcoin, and then you can tip on tweets. Like, you can get paid directly. They even had the tipping feature on Twitter for over a year already. So his deadline of it could be done in a year. I think it could probably be done earlier if he understood that he's barking up the wrong tree. And it's not necessarily about recreating the wheel. The wheel's already been made, and it's Bitcoin. And again, it's the white paper day. I'm glad we're rereading that section of the white paper. It's literally the second paragraph of the white paper. It just goes to show that if you are trying to create some kind of mechanism to pay on the internet, you will become the trusted third party. Now, maybe he wants to become that trusted third party. Someone says everyone wants to become Coinbase on steroids. Maybe that's what he's wanting to do. But it's the simple solution. You know what? Occam's razor is just implementing Bitcoin on Twitter. And again, guys, say what you want about Elon Musk, say what you want about Twitter in general. But I quickly looked up the numbers. There's like 330 plus million people on Twitter. It's more than the United States, or just roughly about the same as the United States, the entire population of the United States. The network effect of Twitter, plus all those users being onboarded onto Bitcoin, would be absolutely huge. Now, does Elon Musk actually believe in what he says? I don't know. I don't know his intentions. But if he really did believe in what he is saying about financial freedom and freedom of speech and all that good stuff, then he's going to inevitably end up where David Marcus did with the Facebook coin. You end up at Bitcoin. You realize, holy snaps, I cannot do this because they don't want me to do this. So I have to find the sly roundabout way, which is, of course, Bitcoin. Like, shouts out to the devs over at Nostr. They already did this. If they really wanted to do this, they could probably do it very quickly and just port over the same type of features on Twitter. Of course, there is red tape that they're going to have to cut through. There will be a lot of noise and backlash if they do add Bitcoin. But man, imagine the network effects if Twitter embraced Bitcoin. It would usher Bitcoin on a global level for 330 million plus people. Like that network effect would be unstoppable. That would make Twitter unstoppable. But of course, here we are. They're probably going to try to do some kind of walled garden so that they get their fees and cuts from it, and make sure that you're KYC'd and blue verified and all this stuff. But I think they're going to have uphill battle. This really does feel like the Facebook coin announcement, like in real time. And how long did that take? Like 2 years before they realized that they couldn't stop this. Like they couldn't actually create this. And now David Marcus has seemingly come out as a Bitcoin maxi. It's like, Musk, I know you're watching Simply Bitcoin. Just get on the Bitcoin standard already. It's so simple. I'm sure there's some awesome Bitcoiners out there that would help you implement this. I'm sure there's some even Bitcoiners that work at Twitter that are afraid of even bringing this up to the surface. Like, it's so simple. And that would really, I think that would blow the roof off of this Bitcoin thing. That would bring so many new people onto Bitcoin, expose more and more people to Bitcoin. It would be beautiful. Say what you want about Twitter, but I think these types of companies embracing Bitcoin will be very good for all of us here. So, I don't like to really speculate on Musk's intentions, but on the surface, if he really believes what he's been saying the last year, then he should embrace Bitcoin on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it.
100%. What's your take, DJ?
Yeah, I just sent in the chat there. Elon posted the other day.
I'll pull it up right now. I'll pull it up.
Posting this to my main timeline so more people see it. It was about Wikipedia, and basically Musk made a comment that Wikipedia is inherently hierarchical and therefore subject to the biases of higher-ranking editors. My point is that he understands the power of decentralization. He understands that when you spread that information across a wide range of individuals within a society, you get this distributed, decentralized process. That's how society organizes. That's how civilization grows. That's like Hayek talks about extended order. That's exactly how civilization grows, through distribution and decentralization. And if you're going to centralize literal money, which we all know trusted third parties as security holes, Nick Szabo, it's just, again, I go back to the Boudreaux article about coercivists and voluntarists. Everyone just coerce into this simple platform. I won't be using it, and I just think it's like, just sow your life out, Elon. He already realizes that decentralization has an enormous power. Why go down this route?
Ego. Like why ego, man? Because He's a billionaire. He lands rockets, and he genuinely thinks that he could do it better if he has that centralization. I just think that in order, like the I'm very glad that you brought up the Nick Szabo quote, because it's perfect. Like, trusted third parties are, what did you? I forget the.
Trusted third parties are security holes.
Exactly.
Everyone read that as well
right?
today.
So if he doesn't do that, then I'm bullish on Nostr. I'm bullish on other platforms, but that's the beauty of the free market. So if Elon is able to get over that ego hump, all roads lead to Bitcoin. If he believes I'm new to Bitcoin, I'm here to fix it, and I could do it better, then he's going to run into the same problems that Zuckerberg run into. He's going to run into the same problems that PayPal run into. He's going to run into all the same problems that all these, financial platforms have tried to roll out using the traditional financial system. It's like very enthusiastic entrepreneurs. They want to fix the problem. They want to fix the inefficiencies, but then boom comes compliance. Boom comes these regulations. Boom comes these censorship control mechanisms introduced by governments under the guise of it's for your safety, it's for terrorism, it's for drugs, it's for money laundering. But I think Elizabeth Warren really exposed, that it really wasn't about those things. She's not really interested of the truth. She's really interested in controlling what money you use, and she's willing to lie in order to achieve that goal, right? Or better said, maybe I can't accuse Elizabeth Warren of lying directly, but she's refusing to not retract her statement, even though that the article of which she referenced was based on misinformation and misrepresentations. Anyways, everybody, before we move on to the culture, I want to give a very special shout out to our sponsor, makes Simply Bitcoin possible. Best place to buy and sell and host your mining equipment. Kaboom racks. You got to check out their racks. I made it super easy for you guys. You could scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to their Telegram marketplace, and you can connect with a member of their sales team. They make purchasing easy and transparent. And you could also sell mining equipment with them. They have a vast network of domestic and international customers where you could sell your mining equipment with them. Check out Kaboom Racks. Start your mining utopia today. All right, everybody, let's hit the culture. Let's do it.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
Let's go. All right, DJ. Well, this is the part of the show where we feature our guests. So you host a podcast called Discovering Bitcoin. I think it would be fitting if we started with how you discovered Bitcoin.
Yeah, man. I was going down the let's get a mortgage rabbit hole, and trying to figure out what this thing was, which then led me to questioning the whole thing because I really couldn't understand it. It was just so complicated and messy. And then I started asking questions about what money was. Like, what is even this thing that I'm borrowing this enormous amount of money for this vastly overpriced house? And how does all this thing work, And so I just started asking that question and eventually just stumbled upon a couple of sort of peripheral podcasts. They weren't necessarily talking about Bitcoin per se. Actually, one of the guys, Aussies will know this guy, Alex Saunders. He hosted a crypto podcast.
I know who that guy is.
He rug pulled a bunch of people, of course, and I was thankful. I stayed clear of a lot of the shit coins. I did actually end up buying a little bit of ETH, but I made some bank off it and bought some more Bitcoin. So I was, all good, right? Did the U-turn, and then yeah, man, just once I read the Bitcoin Standard and then started reading, it was sort of around the time Breedlove was writing quite a lot of stuff around the tyranny of time scarcity. Linking money to time was like a revelation to me because time's always been a thing that I've thought about, man, since I was a kid. and just this scarcity of time, knowing and understanding that intuitively, this scarcity of time. So linking that to money and understanding how those two interconnect was like, wow, I got to really dive deep onto this Bitcoin thing.
Yeah, I love it, bro. Couldn't agree more. All right. Anyways, let's get into the podcast, bro. What's the goal over here? Actually, before we talk about the specific podcast, how about we justify our existence? Is there enough Bitcoin podcasts?
No, man. It's all about the TAM, right? Total
Agree-
addressable market. You got to have more Bitcoin podcasts.
Love it.
You got to have
Love
more
it.
podcasts more generally.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. So what's your goal here? What's the point of discovering Bitcoin? What would be your ultimate goal for discovering Bitcoin podcasts?
Well, man, my ultimate goal was actually to get Opti on episode 1.
No, was it? Was it?
Your
Opti was on episode 1? What?
Yes. I didn't quite have the balls at the time to reach out to Nico, so I went with Opti. And to be honest, I thought if I can't get Opti, this project's not going to work. So, so yeah, I had Opti on episode 1. But basically, the general premise of the pod is,
Opti famous.
we listen to all these Bitcoin podcasts. You guys do a great job of coming at it from like a newsworthy angle. And obviously there's a lot of macro talk, and that's, Yellow's favorite subject. But I always am more interested in the human aspect, the personal, the people aspect. To sound a little bit of a wanker, it's like the anthropological aspect of Bitcoin. And I felt as I was discovering Bitcoin myself and going on this journey that it was fundamentally changing me. It was this experience like I never had. I always say on the pod, Bitcoin is the most intellectually stimulating thing I've ever come across. And usually when you latch onto something, like I probably have a bit of an obsessive personality. So you latch onto something, you want to learn as much as you can about it. I'm still not anywhere near the bottom of the rabbit hole on this one. Like you can dive fairly deep on music, you can dive fairly deep on like agriculture and farming and things, which are interests of mine. But Bitcoin touches so many different things. And I think when people come in contact with it and they truly are humble and have humility enough to realize that they know nothing, and if they just took the time to listen and learn, that it could be a total net benefit to them. So the idea is that when you're listening to the podcast, you're hearing other people's experiences of discovering this thing, and maybe you identify yourself in their journey, and you're like, oh shit, like that's something that I'm going through too. And you can kind of learn about Bitcoin through people's experiences.
Yeah, 100%. That's why we try to do the culture in this way as well, because that, like, to your point, and we had this conversation, this is the most fascinating part about Bitcoin to me, is just how it changes you, how I say it all the time, it puts a fire under your ass, and your whole life changes after you find Bitcoin, if you really put in the work and you put in the study. And I find the same thing. If people understood how other people got into Bitcoin, then they can relate. And we say it all the time. Shut up. We say it all the time. We're in the war for the hearts and minds of the masses. And I think covering the stories of other Bitcoiners gives us that human element, and more people realize, like, oh, wait, I'm just like this guy, and maybe I should find some use in Bitcoin. So my next question, or you can rant on this and add to this question, what has been, I would say, like one or maybe two takeaways from all the conversations you've had? And I was looking at the names. There's some heavyweights there, bro. Much bigger than me, bro. So appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been very lucky with the caliber of guests, but for my mind, it's not really about caliber. The plebs actually have been one of the one of the most fascinating conversations. Like I had this Canadian fella on Fiat is Worthless, awesome name. And he just had a really cool story, and he was able to compare and contrast the experiences of his grandparents on both sides, and how one, worked really hard but found it difficult to save, and the other one invested a whole bunch in real estate and made significant gains and so on and so forth. And he was thinking about just how arbitrary the whole system is when it comes to I guess trying to get ahead and trying to build wealth. One of the things that I love asking on the podcast is, how has discovering Bitcoin changed you? And that always gives people a pregnant pause, and they sort of sit with the question for a little bit and then just obviously begin to answer it. Interestingly enough, the ones that take me back are like Eric Voskuil, who was like, it hasn't changed me at all. It's like, I don't need this thing. Like, I was flying F-14s in Top Gun long before Bitcoin. I'm good, but nonetheless, I find it interesting. But most people, certainly it does a 180 on them, and I always I relate it back to this. Bitcoin enables you to develop yourself, develop your cognition, to grow as an individual, as a being. It's I've been thinking a lot lately and writing some stuff down, which I hope to present at the upcoming Bush Bash. Shout out to the Bush Bashers here in Australia. We do this thing called a Bitcoin Bush Bash. We go out to the middle of nowhere and just hang out, just talk about Bitcoin, do presentations, so on and so forth. But this idea of the philosopher king that Plato came up with, and how you could have this leader that had a love of philosophy and a love of learning, and that they would be the best type of person to take control of the civilization, of the society, of the politic. But of course, philosopher kings are human, they're fallible, and they always succumb to their incentives, right? We all know this. So I was coming up with this idea of, maybe if you could get Bitcoin, think about Bitcoin as sort of like this neutral protocol for transferring value across space and time, that is not fallible, that it is infallible, and that then the people around it, like the people I have on Discovering Bitcoin podcast, they can then imbue the love of knowledge and pursuit of wisdom, this philosophy, onto Bitcoin itself. And I think of people like Eric Kaysen, Gigi, Breedlove, Alan Farrington, these kind of people. So it's not so much a king, but an immutable, immortal foundation from which to build a civilization from. And then when you pass through that Discovering Bitcoin phase, then you can become a self-directed philosopher king in your own right. And you can begin to make free moral choices voluntarily. That's the most important thing, without the threat or force of coercion. And you can get away from this small elite governing class. And I think as Bitcoiners, that's what we're striving for, right?
100%. Hold on.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking broad.
Love it. Yeah, I say it all the time jokingly. I got a philosophy at college, and it's
You got a philosophy at college, Opti?
philosophy degree at college, bachelor's in philosophy, and for all intents and purposes, it was absolutely worthless. But I am super glad I did it, because it taught me how to think correctly. And without that, I wouldn't be a Bitcoiner today. So I don't know. I totally endorse that message, bro. 100%.
Yeah, look, man, Discovery Bitcoin is awesome. And look, all college degrees are worthless. I've got 2 of them, and I don't use them at all.
I dropped out of college. It was phenomenal. It's a great idea. Oh, man.
That's the best idea.
Time saving. Yeah, I didn't know that at the time, and I got a lot of shit for it from my parents. But yeah, in hindsight, it was definitely the move. Anyways, DJ, it was an honor to have you on the show today. Guys, check out the Discovering Bitcoin podcast. Add another awesome Bitcoin podcast to your arsenal of Bitcoin podcasts. Remember what we say always at the end of the show, guys. Number one thing that you could do to push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution is share all Bitcoin content. Don't be exclusive, be inclusive. Share Bitcoin culture, art, music, content, and discovering Bitcoin
Wait, Nico. Before we move on, I think I would do DJ a disservice if I didn't put you on the spot. Win Nico on Discovering Bitcoin podcast.
Just slide into my DMs, Nico. It's all good.
Just hit me up when you want to have me on the show. But yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on. Let's hit the meme review. Let's do it. Here we go.
The Daily Meme Review.
All right, boys and girls and boys, this is the meme review where you tag me on memes on Twitter at simplybitcointv, or for the time being, tag me on my personal account at Optimus Fields, or we would much rather prefer you if you drop them in our Telegram group, t.me/simplybitcointv. Lively group in there. We broke 1,000, a couple months ago or a month ago. I forget now. It's all blur. Anyways, tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. We are in an information war. If you are not aware, World War III is happening right now, and it's an information war, and you are the frontline soldier. The casualties are your mind. If you are not on the front lines, you may be persuaded by some very, very bad propaganda. Anyways, first meme, shouts out to my boy, Copernicus Sun 6 on Twitter. And he goes, at Simply Bitcoin TV, there better be a spaces today or else I'm turning the artillery around on you. And we got the classic picture here of the wife concerned about the husband. And she goes, waifu, he's probably thinking about other whammons. And here we got the Bitcoiner, we got Copernicus here with the laser eyes. And he goes, Opti whispering into my ear, this is the meme review. Tweets are the bullets. Memes are the artillery. Ooh. Oh man, I shouldn't have whispered it. Now I'm gonna get clipped. All right. Anyways, next meme is by Thomas Farrer, and he goes, "Fix the money." #Bitcoin. Actually, this one's not even him. But shouts out to Thomas. I don't know who is the original, but he says he's not the original author. Anyways, it seems fitting, synchronicities and all, considering that we're talking about Elon Musk, and I prepared the meme review before I knew what the topics were on today's show. But hey. Fitting. Okay, so it goes, why do we need crypto? Or rather, why do we need Bitcoin? And we got the NPC Wojak with no brain. It goes, faster transactions. And the Bitcoiner, no, it's removed the state from the money printer. And then we got Hoshkinson's from I forget what shitcoin. I think it's ADA. And he goes, more efficient finances. No, remove the state from the money printer. And then we got the wizard JPEG people. And he goes, oh, digital art. No, we need Bitcoin to remove the state from the money printer. Fix the money, fix the world, guys. This is the fundamental root problem going on in the world. Anyways, next one is by Vivek for real. Actually, it's a screenshot. So shouts out to Corn DeLorean. And he goes, a toxic Bitcoin maxi doing his job. And it looks like we got a JPEGer, blockchain JPEGer here, Jack. And he goes, does anyone know a project that won't end in a rug pull, please? And Corn DeLorean goes, #Bitcoin, you dumb fuck. It's this simple. Bitcoin's the only one that's not going to rug pull you guys. Wake up. Or, put your hand on the stove, whatever works for you. Anyways, next meme is by the BTC therapist. And he goes, you never sell your Bitcoin. And we got, I forget what this guy's name is, but from Breaking Bad. And he goes, bears when they realize Bitcoin has doubled in price this year. And it's everyone waiting for 12K. No, please, God, no. Why is numbers still going up? You silly bears, you silly bears. You do not short Bitcoin. It is immoral. You go all in on Bitcoin. And on that note, shouts out Holding Sad. He goes, all in, #Bitcoin. And I forget what, is this Lord of the Rings? The evil king?
Yeah, dude, no, bro, that's you in like 30 years.
Yeah, right, that's you in 5. Anyways, it goes, when the banks are collapsing, but you got negative 4.37 cents in the bank, and he's got laser eye, goes, you have no power here. Guys, we're getting to the buy the dip portion of the bull run where you literally smash by the remaining amount of your fiat in your bank. No,
If
that was joking. Stay solvent, stack sats, stay humble.
Mortgage your home.
Do not get the HELOC.
No, that was a joke.
Do not get the HELOC. Make sure you can pay your bills and pay your rent.
This is not financial advice.
Make sure you can eat food, guys, but buy the dips. It's turning into buy the dip season. Always buy the dips. You will be rewarded. But be smart. Be smart. Be smart. Be smart out there. Okay, next meme. Oh man, we're gonna get in so much trouble once it starts pumping. I already feel it. Anyways,
no, you're gonna get us in trouble, bro.
I will still tell you to stay solvent and be humble. This is the way. But buy the dip. Okay, man. Big Sean Harris on Twitter. He goes, "Remember that first on-chain Bitcoin transaction you made?" And it goes, my heart resting. It's, it's chilling. It's beating, doing exercise. It's beating a little more. You're getting your heart rhythm up a little bit. And then before your first on-chain transaction gets confirmed and you think you've lost your Bitcoin, your heart goes absolutely into, I remember this. There's few things I remember in life because I got bad short-term memory. You can connect the dots however you want. But I remember the first time I made a Bitcoin transaction. It was, I believe, a Thursday at night, and I sent it. And I didn't know the best practices, which I tell you guys all the time. Make sure you're doing test transactions. Don't send all your Bitcoin at once. Anyways, I think it was like $100 at the time. That's all the money I had. I bought Bitcoin $100. I was hearing everyone like, withdraw your Bitcoin from exchanges. It's not your Bitcoin, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera. And I like quadruple checked my Bitcoin address. I sent it, and I was used to like Venmo and, like PayPal and Cash App where you like instantly get a notification.
Yeah, but it's instant. What are you talking about?
It is pretty instant, but like sometimes there's a little delay between like your wallet noticing that it's getting a transaction. And within that like split second, I'm like, oh my God, I just lost my money. You'll always remember your first transaction, but it's second nature by now, guys. Okay, last one. Shouts out to Bitcoin Atlantis. It goes, every Bitcoiner out there tonight. Hashtag Bitcoin white paper, hashtag Bitcoin white paper day, hashtag Halloween. And we got the classic Batman and Robin meme, and Robin's going, happy Halloween. And Batman slaps him and he goes, no, happy Bitcoin white paper day. Let's go. Shouts out to Satoshi. We've been doing this Bitcoin thing 15 years in this experimental monetary game that we all have found ourselves obsessed with. I'm going on 6 years, Nico. I think you're going like 7 or 8 years. I'm not sure how long our boy DJ's been here, but guys, 15 years of this Bitcoin experiment. Go read the white paper today. It'll take you 20 minutes. As someone said they had never read it, they'll read it today. Guys, you need to read the white paper. And also, go read Third Parties Are Security Holes as well. We're giving you guys homework tonight, but this is why we do it, guys. For Bitcoin to continue to propagate the memes.
This is why we do what we do.
Anyways, drop your meme review score on the other side, Nico, and we will get to it live.
I'm going to give it this, no free advertising on Simply, but I'm going to give it this bottle of honey.
Is it raw honey? It better be raw honey.
100% pure, raw, and unfiltered honey.
Ooh, that's that good stuff.
Yeah. I put it on my acai bowl. If you know what acai is,
Who doesn't? All right. Actually,
don't.
Actually, before I forget, drop them in Rumble as well. I'm going to read them today. I noticed you guys are dropping meme review scores on Rumble as well. I can't pull them up, but I'll read them. Anyways, my meme review score for today is this random button that I don't know where it's from, but I found it today, and I'm running out of meme review scores. So it's a random button.
You got to get yourself some honey.
I think I've done honey on the show before, but I don't know.
Yeah,
anyways,
some honey, bro. Honey.
Anyways,
some honey. Simply honey, exactly.
All right, DJ, what's your score for today?
Oh man,
I'm gonna give it a Sparrow hat from the Bitcoin Hat Guy.
Oh, okay. This guy gets it. Huge fan of Sparrow. Love to see it.
Sparrow's awesome. Big fan of Sparrow. Yeah, Sparrow is the move. Sparrow's the move. Anyways, guys, before we move on,
wait, hold on, Hex. What did I say? What did I say today? Sheesh,
guys. If you want to help support the show, check out our merch. I made it easy for you guys. You could scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you directly to simplybitcoin.com. You can get yourself the latest and greatest Simply Bitcoin merch. You can get yourself a shirt. You can get yourself a hoodie. And it really, really helps the show. We pay attention to detail. It literally says Bitcoin or slavery in the stitching. It's very, very high quality. It's made by our friends over at Represent. They make some of the best merch. And it's a Bitcoin company as well. So shout out to David and crew. Anyways, let's get to the meme scores. First one by Will, mistaking an inflated dinosaur costume for Elizabeth Warren. Yikes. That is absolutely hilarious. All right, next one by Phil C. I give the memes an applause for everyone who didn't get paper hands during the bear market. That's true. That's true. If you made it this hard, if you've made it this far, you should be.
Pause.
You should be proud of yourself. All right, next one is by Roman. Opties, that's you in 5 years come back on the Laser Eyes Ice King meme. Oh, man.
Got him.
Elaine, Musk outed with CGI X rocket glitch goes viral.
Oh, wow, really?
Elaine coming in with the fire.
Dang.
All
Flat
right.
Earthers in the chat.
Matthew J, one Simply Bitcoin hat. They're coming. They're coming. Dude, we should have just made hats. Oh, man. Rope.
Wine, we need hats.
The return of Bitcoin Kindergarten tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Son of Satoshi meme review. Turns out sometimes 2 + 1 = 2.
Okay. All right. Over here on Rumble. Hold on. I told the Rumble guys, we don't want them to go unread. Narwhal Tacos, meme score. Your kid comes home from trick-or-treating with a copy of the white paper in his stash bag. Better yet, 3 copies. UTXO, I give the memes the Rumble/YouTube flippening.
Oof.
Wait.
Guys, speaking of Rumble, guys, make sure to subscribe to us on alternative video platforms like Rumble, like X.com. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube as well. Make sure to smash that like button on Twitter, on Rumble, on YouTube. Really helps with the YouTube algos and helps push this content forward. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, make sure to smash that like button. Consider subscribing. And if you feel like we provided you value, I also want to give a very, very special shout out to our guests, Discovering Bitcoin. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, boys. It's been an honor.
Well, pleasure's all ours, man. We are hopeful to have you back on in a couple months if you want to, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thanks
for joining us, man. Get some sleep, and thank you for staying awake to join us on the show. We appreciate it.
Cheers, lads.
All right, take it easy, brother. All right, guys, if you want to push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, the number one thing you could do to share this message is share Bitcoin content, share Bitcoin culture, share Bitcoin art, share Bitcoin music, share it all. That's how you get the message out there. That's how we push the envelope. All right, guys, if you want to join the after party, join us on Twitter Spaces. Opti's going to be holding it down. We are co-hosting it with our friends over at Swan Bitcoin, best place to build your Bitcoin stack. And we're doing that until 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so about a 30-minute Spaces. Opti's going to be holding it down. It's a party. Make sure to join it if you want to join the after party. But we will see you guys tomorrow, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.